Hey there, Rivermen fans. I'm Jason Ruff. Welcome back to another episode of the Dry Dock Podcast. This is the podcast where we get a chance to talk to some of your favorite Rivermen personalities, catch up with them, see how their off season is doing, look back at the season that was, and maybe take a peek at what is up and coming for next year. Our next guest is a man who went through everything with the Peoria Rivermen, came in as a rookie, had some challenges, but overcame them to, by the end of the year, be one of the key contributors for the Peoria Rivermen. I, of course, am referring to Garrett Devine. Garrett, great to see you, my friend. You looking good, rocking the green Boston Red Sox cap. I love it. Love that you're repping the Sox. How have you been? How's your summer been going for you?
It's been going good, Ruffer. Long time no talk. Good to get back talking to you. Got to rock the Sox 10 in a row. They're hot. Yeah, summer's been great. Had been spending a lot of my summers in Colorado, but just relocated to Boston. Living with my girlfriend here, so it's been good. I've really enjoyed the summer so far.
Okay, where in Boston? Because my girlfriend and I went on a trip to Boston last summer and we kind of toured through most of the city. So where in Boston are you guys living right now?
Yeah, so it's technically not Boston. It's Milton. It's like the first town south of Boston, basically.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's a good spot. It's only about like a 10-minute drive into the city.
My girlfriend and I stayed at a Airbnb just east of Lynn area, the good
Okay.
part,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
close to Salem. So we went there. They have some really good breakfast places in Salem. Like everyone thinks Salem is like, oh, the Witchcraft Museum, Halloween, witches,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. No, they got some really good like breakfast and brunch places.
Yeah. Salem's a sneaky good spot. It's actually a pretty fun time if you get out there. So
Yeah,
glad
it
you enjoyed it.
absolutely is. So let's talk a little bit about you. And I think the biggest thing that you have to start with is the fact that you came to Peoria after 11 games with the Maine Mariners, and you showed some flashes early, but had some challenges in the goal scoring department. Like I remember just seeing so many chances that you come so close, and it was just literally that close away from scoring. And I remember talking to you about it. You had a really good attitude over the course of the season until you eventually broke out. How was that journey for you? Dealing with obviously the frustration because as a scorer, you want to contribute, you want to make an impact on your team, but also sticking with the process, taking in what the coaching staff's been giving you, and eventually overcoming that challenge and really developing and being an important contributor to the Rivermen this year.
Yeah. I mean, I feels like it's kind of something that most guys go through at some point during the year. Like there's always the season's so long, so a lot of the guys at some point during the year are going to have a part when they're a little bit snake bit and the puck's kind of not bouncing their way. And mine kind of happened to be at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
Um, Part of the reason that it was kind of easier to deal with was I knew I was pretty banged up. Like I tore up my adductor pretty good right at the beginning of the season. So just knowing that it was going to be a process of getting healthy and getting back to myself and playing well, that little part of it helped. And then honestly, like I was just enjoying the opportunity of getting to play a lot and play a lot of hockey and be in my first pro year. And um, so even like the most frustrating days, you kind of just have to take a step back and look and realize kind of where you're at, your situation wise. And um, I mean, there's nothing you can really do other than just try to keep working through it. So
Yeah.
just kind of doing that and then knowing that once it happened, they were going to come in bunches. And so that eventually happened kind of down towards the end of the year. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a process. It was definitely difficult at times, but it ended up working out. So
How helpful was the coaching staff, Coach Trudell and Coach Levine, in keep not only making sure that your mindset was in the right aspect, that you were working on the right things, but trying to help you through that challenging moment? Because I think everyone, no matter whether you're a hockey player, a broadcaster, professional, whatever, you're going to have moments in your life where there's going to be a bit of a rut and you really got to try to work out of it. And there are going to be days where you're thinking, oh my gosh, you're not going to get out of it. And but if you keep pushing, you keep working, you keep having the right mindset, eventually that day will come where you said the goals will finally go in and they'll start coming in bunches.
yeah, I mean, um, with the coaching staff, no matter what was going on, like that first 10, 15 games were pretty tough production wise, but at no point I ever felt that the coaching staff lost any confidence in me or thought of me any differently as a player. They're always super positive with me and behind me. And I think they knew that I was doing a lot of the right things and playing like team hockey, even when stuff wasn't going great personally. And yeah, I mean, they always just kept my confidence high. They were always really good to me. And when you know that someone has confidence in you that it's going to come around, then that helps you have confidence in yourself also. Um, so yeah, I mean, they were great with me all year, never mind just the beginning of the year. But yeah, it was definitely helpful to have someone saying like, here's what we think. Some little things you can do to try to shorten how long you're going to be in this little drought. Here's some kind of things to think about when you're out there, stuff like that. So it was both emotionally and then also kind of tactically a little bit trying to kind of get through it, and we did. And yeah, I mean, all the credit to them with the help they gave me for sure.
With all the players that were on this Rivermen team this year, while you didn't come in at the very beginning of the year, you did play 42 games with Peoria. You were basically a veteran by the time it was over. How was it dealing with all that kind of roster change and basically while still being in your first year in the SPHL, being kind of one of those, I don't want to say older statesmen, but one of those guys who's been with the team for a while and been a more consistent presence in the locker room for most of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot of changing roles through the year. It felt like when I first got there, I was kind of just getting started and being like, all right, and we had a lot of older veteran guys in the room that had played a lot of years of pro, and it was kind of like, all right, like just finding my niche of where it fits in and playing my game and doing my thing. And then by the end of the year, it felt like um, I kind of wanted to be in more of a leadership role and trying to be more of steering the ship and rowing the boat. And so it felt like the year went by fast, but it felt like a really long year, not in a bad way, but of just like so many different things happening and then your role changing. And it felt like I got a whole lot more than just 40 games worth of experience under my belt for sure. Obviously, we went through a lot of bodies, so just being able to experience a lot of what onboarding, offboarding, guys coming in and out, kind of what the season looks like as you go through it. There's just like a lot of stuff going on, so there's a lot of opportunities to learn and kind of get a feel of what pro hockey's like. And um, yeah, there's just I guess there's a lot going on, so there's a lot to learn from. So it felt like a lot more than just like a year's worth of experience for sure.
What was the one aspect of that, of those changing roles, of all the things that are being thrown at you that you had to embrace? What was the one aspect or multiple aspects that you really enjoyed and really gravitated towards?
Um, I think what I loved the most was that the year's so long, but when you take every single day as like I'm not thinking about like, oh wow, this has been like a really hard month, or like, oh wow, we've been like traveling a lot or doing this or that. Like when you just attack every single day, like this is my process, this is what I'm doing today, this is what I have to do, whether it's like how you prepare yourself before you get to the ring, game days, stuff like that. Just realizing how um just kind of tweaking what I would do on a day-to-day basis to try to get myself to be the best that I could be and learning about what my body likes, what it doesn't, how I play my best when I do this, doing that, kind of just doing like a workshop almost of myself of
Right.
trying to figure out what works for me, what works for being able to play my best and kind of by the end of the year really dialing in and figuring out like if I eat this, I feel like this, if I drink this way, if I sleep this way, what to think about during games, stuff like that. So I just always felt like a day by day process of elimination of what works and what doesn't and getting better. And um, it was kind of just fun to play so many games that you could really dial that in.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that process.
Did you get any good advice from your father, who was a standout at Providence College, was a captain back in the early 90s? I mean, I'm sure you played at Providence College for a couple years as well. So I'm sure you got plenty of great insight and information from your dad in terms of the kind of the stuff that we don't see either as fans or as broadcasters, kind of behind the scenes in the life of a hockey player.
Yeah. It was honestly kind of fun because we got to learn a little bit about pro together. He didn't really play any pro hockey. He was kind of did college and then started his life that way. But it was fun for him to kind of ask me questions, and I would ask him questions about certain things and kind of feedback back and forth about what we know. Obviously, hockey wise, it's all the time. Like every game ends, and I get a message of all different clips and shifts from the game of hey, let's look at this, let's look at that. Just doing film stuff all the time. Like he loves it. I love doing that stuff too because it's just an opportunity to kind of learn about the game and learn um, what can kind of get me at my best. But it was fun for him to be like, hey, what does it feel like when you just played two games and then you bust 8 hours overnight and then you play your third game in 3 days? Like he's like, hey, like didn't have a lot of jump in the first period. It's like, yeah, well, like you don't know what that's like trying to get off the bus and doing that. So there was kind of some fun moments like that. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a pretty fun kind of learning and experience that we got to have together. So that was definitely fun.
Yeah, those 3-3s, I bet you're telling them, look, you guys only had to do Friday, Saturdays. We had to
Yeah,
do 3-3, and then you got to bus all the way over here. So I bet you had some like you college guys didn't have any to deal with any of
yeah. So there was definitely a little bit of that, and then the other part is he was always great at holding me really accountable. Like he would be the guy that would be like I know that travel sucked, but like, did you do everything you could do? You know, did you sleep? Did you eat the right way? Were you drinking fluids? Like, did you have the mindset of not being tired and just showing up and doing your thing? Like, so it was a nice balance of being realistic with how well I could get myself together while also kind of learning a little bit of, hey, some nights, like when you play 60 games, there's going to be a couple nights when you don't quite have your legs and you have to try to find a way to be productive in other ways. And so it was good. I think we both learned a lot, and it was definitely fun for sure.
It's interesting. You're getting coaching basically on two sides. You got Jean-Guy Trudel and Eric Levine on one side, and you got your dad on the other side. That's got to be an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it's great because my dad and John Gee are very similar in the way that they deliver messaging and the way that they see the game and stuff. So that's obviously a positive. When I'm with the team, obviously it's John Gee's way or the highway. So I'm
Right.
listening to what he has to say and doing the things that he wants to see done. And then some of like the little finer point stuff about my game specifically. Um, Honestly, it's just I love learning about the game. I like feeling like I'm getting better, and I feel like the more voices I have, I can kind of parse through what I like, what I don't like, what I think is really valuable, and just kind of take a little bit of something from everywhere and try to put it all together. So
I mentioned earlier you played 3 years of D1 college hockey at Providence College, the home of the scariest hockey mascot in the world. I
yeah,
won't say scariest mascot in the world because Purdue has that title.
yeah,
But
yeah,
after that, after 3 years there, you transferred to the University of New England. What was the biggest challenge in your 5 years playing Division 1 and then eventually Division 3 college hockey, you think? Especially when
yeah,
you're playing at a place where your dad was a standout and a captain.
yeah. I mean, I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about either place. I love my time at Providence. I met some of my best friends that I
Mhm.
have for life, and three of the guys I played with are in my skating and training group now. A couple of pro guys around, so I have those friends, obviously. I like kind of grew up and I always wanted to go to PC. Like that was kind of my far-fetched dream that I never really thought that I could attain. Like I was playing public school hockey in Colorado my sophomore year of high school, like kind of barely made the team. Like it was kind of just like I liked playing hockey because I liked playing hockey. I never really thought about like ever being a good player. Um, and things just kind of happened really quickly and I grew and I got a lot better all kind of at once. And when that opportunity came to my door, like there was no way I was ever going to turn it down, and basically got to live my like childhood dream for 3.5 years, which was like was unbelievable. And there was obviously ups and downs, and COVID was crazy, and got hurt a couple times, and all whatever all that kind of stuff is. But just being able to be a Friar was awesome, and I wouldn't really trade it for anything. And I learned a lot about myself, and yeah, it was great. And then when it came to wanting to prolong my hockey career, I knew I just had to play more. Like I had to play all the situations. I had to play more games. I had eligibility left from COVID and redshirting and stuff like that. And I originally was going to go to UNE before I went to Providence. That was kind of like basically I Coach Swallow at UNE called me and he was like, "Hey, like I need to know if you're coming or not." And I was like, "I just need a couple more days. Like I'm trying to figure some stuff out." And then Nate Lehman called me in Providence the very next day and basically said like, "Hey, like you can walk on here and try to, we'll see what happens. And if you do well, then we'll sit then, you know," and ended up walking on the team and kind of never looked back and was there and was a full participant. So then I called Swallow when I was in the portal and I was like, we got to do it. I mean, it's a great opportunity. And I was coming here in the first place. So, and I loved those 2 years. That was great. We had a lot of success. I got to play a lot, touch the puck a lot. Got some years back of hockey of playing a lot of games, and we were successful. Went to a Final Four. Yeah, so it was kind of basically like being a legit player again and learning kind of going up through that. So yeah, both places were just unbelievable. And it's definitely been a weird journey that not a lot of people take, but I've enjoyed every second of it. So it was great.
Brief aside about your playing days in Colorado playing public school hockey. Did you guys ever play Steamboat Springs?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh
my
yeah. Yeah.
uncle, my dad's brother, Jeff Ruff, was their coach for a number of years. So you might have
Oh
played
yeah.
against one of his teams.
My one of my funniest hockey stories ever growing up was we drove up to Steamboat, which is about like a 3.5 hour drive.
Through the mountains, so you're zigzagging
Oh
all the
yeah.
way up
Yeah.
there.
We
Yeah.
drove up there and I probably played this was my sophomore year of high school. I probably played the worst hockey game I've ever played in my life. Like just like had nothing, like turning it just like terrible. And we were staying the night up there because we were playing against I think Vale the next day or something. We do like a up in the mountain swing. We were staying in the hotel and there was my whole family was there. And so it was me, my dad, my mom, brother, sister, and there was the two twin beds.
Mhm.
And my dad was like, that game was like so bad, like I don't know what you're doing, blah blah. And he was like, you're sleeping on the floor. So I like had to get all like the blankets and everything. My brother and sister were in one bed, my parents were in the other, and then I had to sleep on the floor because I played so bad.
Oh, that's
And we
brutal.
always like joke about it, like now growing up, just being like, that's like how bad it was. But yeah, that was like, and it was always like funny. Like it was never like anything where like you'd be like upset or whatever. It's just kind of like, yeah, you're right. Like, all right, I'm on the floor. So that's always a great story that we've told growing up all the time. But oh yeah, yep,
You mentioned that, and I remembered my uncle coached high school hockey. My dad coached me
yeah,
in youth growing up, so I had to ask if you ever probably played against
oh
one of
yeah,
his teams. But getting back to Providence College, you walk on there. Did you have the whole? We see in college football because we're only like what 10 weeks away, less than that,
yeah.
from college football, and we see this. Oh yeah, we're gonna give this scholarship to this player, and all the scholarship guys like go crazy. Did you ever have that moment, or was it more of kind of, hey, we'd like to offer you a scholarship? Congratulations.
Yeah, basically it was I like walked on and I went that semester because they were down some bodies and Nate basically told me like, hey, like you're just gonna be a student for a little while and then when we need a guy, I'll text you. And then once you get in and practice for a little while, if you're good enough, we'll keep you. And if not, we'll get rid of you. And that was more than any opportunity I could have asked for back then. And I was sure enough, I was taking classes for a couple weeks and they had a defenseman get hurt and he texted me and he was like, hey, you ever played defense? And I was like, nope. And he was like, all right, well, we're going to have you practice today. You're going to play defense. And my defensive partner actually was Jacob Bryson, who plays for the Sabres now.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
pretty good team
and
partner.
he was like our best defenseman. And he was like, yeah, just like do your best or whatever. And I was like, okay, like here we go. And I ended up like practicing great and like snapping it around and scored a couple goals. And then from then on, they're like, yeah, you're going to practice every day. Like you belong here. And so that was great. But yeah, my towards the end of my stint there, I got called up into coach's office, which usually is never good, but it was good. He called me up and I was kind of went in there and didn't really know what was going to happen. And he was like, hey, we had some stuff shuffling around and we want to offer you this part of the scholarship. And I was like, all right, like great, like thank you a lot. I appreciate it a lot. Shook his hand, left. Went down to the locker room and they all the guys were kind of like, yo, like what was that about? Like what happened? And I was like, oh, like they're like partially giving me some money or whatever. And all the guys were like super pumped for me. So that was cool. That was a nice moment. And obviously I called my parents and they were stoked. Just not even the money aspect of it, but just the recognition of being like, hey, like we value you here. We want to partially pay for your school. And so yeah, that was a really cool moment for sure.
What was so switching gears over to back to the professional side after that nice little foray into your past, looking back at this past season and coming to the Peoria Rivermen, what was the biggest thing that struck you about not just necessarily pro hockey, but Peoria and the Rivermen and the Rivermen way of doing things?
Yeah, I think just how much people cared about the organization that were in it. I think there's a lot of places where it's all about me, and where am I going to go in my career and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But in Peoria, it really seemed like you're playing for something that's bigger than yourself. Obviously, part of that is being um, in an organization that has so much history in the town. I think part of it is the culture that John Gee creates, where like we're all here to pull the rope. Like if you don't want to pull the rope, you can go somewhere else. Like this is that those are the kind of people that we want around where we're all on one mission trying to win a championship.
Yep.
Um and so I think that was by far the most shocking thing was especially in some of my other stops in pro hockey, it was very much kind of like, what can the team do for me? And Peoria was very much, what can you do to help us get to our goal? Um, and so that was one of my favorite parts of being there for sure.
What was your favorite memory from this past season?
Oh, um, I mean, wow, that's tough. Obviously, scoring my first goal was the most relieving moment. I'll tell you that for free.
The Celtics
Uh,
certainly showed that. I
yeah,
remember
that
it.
was like weight off the back, but I don't really want to do something like all about me. Yeah, I think just like the times when we go out with the guys and you're just hanging out and just like there's that funny famous NCAA basketball clip when the team gets eliminated and they're like, "What are you gonna miss most about Duke?" And he's like, "Just going out for food." Like that's how I feel. It's like just like hanging out with the guys is like the best part. And you do that every day, but that's kind of like the best part about pro is you go and you clock in and you do your work, and then when you're done, you just get to hang out with the guys. It's just the boys. So,
What's the favorite hangout to get food at with the boys?
um, I mean, obviously Chipper never misses.
Ah,
Chipotle is always great.
yeah,
Um,
get it.
yeah, heading down to cruisins and doing trivia nights and stuff like that. Um, just like I don't know, just being with the guys. Like
Okay,
it's what everyone says they miss the most when they're done playing. It's like what everyone's favorite part is when you're playing. It's the best, hanging out with the boys.
I gotta ask, and I'm sure there are other people that are asking this question. What is the appeal of Chippers, of Chipotle? Because when we're on the road, it is always, without fail, it is either Chipotle or it's Cava. It's
Yeah.
one or the other. There's like almost no other place that the team will go outside of maybe outside of Waffle House, and that's only
Yeah. Ooh, Waffle
outside
House
of
is good.
those three. That's what
Yeah.
it is. And oh,
I
I
think
forgot Panera on the drive
yeah,
to Evansville. It's Panera at the
there.
top, like midway in the middle. But that's the only other time you get Panera. So
Yeah,
way
honestly,
better than Chipotle.
I think like well, Chipotle is just you can get so many different things at one place, so it kind of is like one size fits all, but you don't have to feel super guilty about eating it. Like you can build your bowl in a way where you're not like, all right, I probably shouldn't be eating this. Um, I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of like a thing. Like hockey guys love chipper. It just is what it is. I don't really know if it's anything deeper than that.
Like it's like Boston guys love the Red Sox and the Patriots and the Bruins and they love Tom Brady. They put an altar to Tom Brady. They say their prayers to
Yep.
Tom Brady every night, right?
Yep. TB12, the goat. Yeah.
Growing up as a Boston sports fan, what was the most memorable and the most painful moment as a Boston sports fan?
Painful is 100% um, Bruins Blackhawks. Game six, when the Blackhawks scored twice under a minute, we lost in game six. It's like not even close. That was like I don't even know what just happened. Um, that was horrible. I would say best the 28-3 game was unbelievable. Um, but I've always like had like a weird affinity for the Red Sox. Like I'm not even a big baseball guy. I just like love the Red Sox. Like me and my buddies texting group chats about like every game about the Sox. And David Ortiz hitting the home run into the bullpen against the Yankees walk off was like one of the coolest things of all time. Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously been spoiled my whole life. Like I grew up in Rhode Island until I was 10, and that was enough to love East Coast sports forever. And like, I mean, you can't ask for any better of a start. So I'm sure the second half of my life will be terrible at everything, but it's still worth it for how it's gone so far. So
Everything's all on balance here, my friend,
yeah,
especially in the
yeah,
world of sports. So for the Boston Bruins against the Blackhawks, I could say I'm sorry, but I'm not. So I'm not even going to try. But
yeah.
I will say the Boston of all the Boston area teams, the Red Sox are my favorite. I do love the
Yeah.
Red Sox. I love the history. I told you
Just
before
something
we came on
sucks.
that when my girlfriend and I went to Boston, we went over to Fenway Park. The Sox weren't there, unfortunately, so we couldn't take in a game, but that's on my bucket list. And yeah,
Yeah.
David Ortiz, Big Poppy, man. I mean,
Big pop.
there's a reason we called Jordan Ernst Peoria's Big Poppy. He had that
Yeah.
kind of swag and impact and
Yeah.
love for the city too.
Absolutely.
It's so. How was it moving? Growing up in Rhode Island, in the East Coast your whole life, and then moving over to Colorado? Was it a bit of a culture shock for you?
Um, Honestly, I was so young, like I was like 10 or 11, and it wasn't crazy. Like obviously you miss your buddies that you like moved away from, and then you kind of make new friends, and it is what it is. But yeah, it wasn't that bad, and I love Colorado. I loved everything about it. Like weather's perfect. Rink was 5 minutes away. Golf course was 5 minutes away. Like it was a great location. So um, yeah, it wasn't really too hard of a transition, and I like loved Colorado so much that it was great. So and then I've been back out east for a while now, so it's been good.
So if the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche met together in the Stanley Cup Finals,
Bruins, Bruins,
without a doubt, without a
without
doubt.
even like remote hesitation, Bruins. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if I have to root for a team, if the Bruins are out, then I'm rooting for the Avs. But it's a
Okay.
little like because they're not my number one team, so I'm not going to act like they're my favorite team. But it's always Boston everything for sure.
Boston, everything. Celtics,
Oh
Bruins,
yeah,
Red Sox, Pats.
yep,
I still go back to when we did our Super Bowl video and you asked Giants or it was Chiefs or Eagles, and you're
yeah,
like Eagles, got to protect the Patriots legacy. Go Pats.
yeah, yeah. Can't have Mahomes catching Brady. You can't have that. Can't have it.
Someone's gonna catch Brady, my friend. It's just inevitable in the whole wide world of
We'll
sports.
see.
If it's not
We'll
gonna be
see.
Mahomes, it's gonna be some other quarterback. We'll be thinking about this when we're like in our 50s or 60s, like, oh
Exactly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
old Garrett Devine will be in his rocking chair. He's like, gosh darn, cut Brady.
Yep.
So
I'll be like the old school Michael Jordan defenders till they die. That'll be me with Tom Brady. That's how
I'm,
I'll be.
I'm an old school Michael Jordan defender. So
Yeah.
you
I don't like I can't even say I've ever like watched an old Michael Jordan basketball game. So I like whenever people are like Jordan or LeBron, I'm like I honestly can't even remember one time I ever watched Michael Jordan play basketball. So I can't I stay out of those conversations.
my only exposure to Michael Jordan, and this may really tick off a lot of Chicago sports people. My only thing with Michael Jordan is when my parents and I, we were a hockey family. We go to the United Center, go to Blackhawks games.
Yeah.
The entrance we always go into is the one where they have that big Michael Jordan statue
Yeah.
where he's doing the big Jordan, the Air Jordan extension. And we
Yeah.
just walked by that, and we were kept, and this was when the Blackhawks were not that good before they got good and they got Kane and Tays. And just think it's like the only good team that's been in here has been the Chicago Bulls, where Jordan did his thing. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But yes, always been a Michael Jordan defender. What have you been doing this summer? Obviously, you're back in Boston. You told us living with your girlfriend. You're looking forward to next season. What's been on the docket? How has Garrett Devine been spending his summer outside of hanging with his girlfriend and cheering on the red hot Boston Red Sox?
Yeah. A part of the reason I moved out here was I got into a workout and skating group down in Foxborough with a bunch of pretty high level pro guys. So that's been really fun just being around like real elite level guys and learning kind of how they take care of themselves and how they prepare for seasons and stuff and learning a lot of that's been great. Skate and work out there every day. And then in my afternoons and on the weekends, I caddy.
Okay.
I caddy at Boston Golf Club in Hingham, Mass, and get to make some connections with some pretty successful people and hang out and be outside all day and out on the golf course and pick up a couple extra bucks. So it's been an active summer for sure, but it's been good.
A lot of
It's
guys
not a lot.
caddying this summer.
Yeah. Why we got some other guys carrying bags or
Oh
what?
yeah. Oh yeah. A couple other guys that I've talked to in this show, they've said like they're caddying.
Yeah.
All right, so that leads me to the question I've been asking a lot of guys. Are you going to be able to take Alec Bear on the links this year?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot last year. I've played golf my whole life. My sister plays pro golf. She actually just played in a pro tournament in Peoria not so long ago, so I gave her all the food recs and everything. Small world. But yeah, we it's a long awaited match. Um, I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Um, and I like my chances. I'll put it that way. So
Or
we'll see what happens.
if there's a pot, let me know. If there's a team pot, if we're putting money down, I'm putting my money on the
Yeah.
Eagles on here.
All
I love
right.
Bearsy to death. I've been with him for 4 years. Man's like a brother to me, but I also recognize when the young hungry wolf
Yeah.
coming up quickly behind you, you better be
Gotta say,
ready or that young wolf's gonna overtake you. So I'm putting my money.
at some point, someone's got to take the throne. So
Yeah,
Bearsy, if you're watching, it's coming. It's coming.
Well,
So yeah,
Alec Hageman had the ping pong thrown for the longest of time, and it
yeah,
was always back in my first couple of years. It was always Hags, Bearsy, and Levy. Levy went out and became a coach, so I don't think he's much in the ping pong game
yeah.
anymore.
We had the ping pong table going a little bit during the middle of the year. I think Carlos has the heavyweight belt in ping pong, but he plays tennis, so it's kind of cheating. But I had a lot of pride in my ping pong game, and then he humbled me pretty quick. So I'm we'll see what happens. I might try to work on my game over the summer so I can get him, but we'll see.
I feel like Carlos humbled a lot of guys on the ping pong team.
Yeah,
I
I think
saw
he kind
some
of
of those games. He was elite. He was McDavid out there.
yeah. I mean, no one had more passion for the ping pong table than McChesney. He loved it, but it just the talent didn't quite match the level of enthusiasm. But no one loved it more than Chesney, and unfortunately, Carlos just came in and had to take the belt. So it is what it is. But
Last question for you, Garrett, before I let you go. It's going to be a fun one. Have you worked on your bingo game since we last talked? Because when we all went to bingo, hanging out with the senior citizens, you were telling me that you were having some struggles on the bingo board. You
I
did get
was,
one win in. I will
I
say that. I
was,
will give you your props. You got one win in, but there
yeah,
were other guys who were yeah, in your own words, like Connor McDavid out there just doing whatever they wanted to.
yeah. I mean, I was just couldn't buy one in bingo, which was tough. I thought about maybe just throwing a couple extra pieces on the board, like no one would think about, but that's not my game. Like I play with too much integrity for that. But I've tried to do a lot of things to improve my luck. Just good things happen to good people, so just helping people across the crosswalk when it's necessary, just being nice to everybody. Hopefully, I get some good juju my way and try to win a couple more bingo rounds. So we'll see what happens.
Building up that karma. Hey, you're wearing the lucky Irish green Boston Red Sox
10
hat.
in a row. 10 in a row.
There you go. Got to keep it
Yeah.
up. Garrett, always a pleasure to talk to you. Informative, insightful, and just so darn hilarious. You can make anyone laugh. Garrett, thanks so much for taking the time. It's been a pleasure. We can't wait to see you back here in the River City, my friend.
Rougher, I appreciate it.